Well, fall is approaching, and so there's not a whole lot more to do with your bees other than make sure that they've got some winter food stores, and then perhaps, well, hopefully you've already done all of your mite preventative medication. So anyway, so what we're going to do is go in here and into the workshop and work on some frames. There are many videos online that tell you how to make a frame or how to put together a frame. I want to show you a trick here in the workshop that might speed things up for you if you're making or preparing 50 or more frames. Take a look at this. This is what you would have as a finished product. Of course, we would glue all of these pieces, these joints, and then put appropriate nails or staples in them. Now I use a pneumatic gun, and with that I put a 2 1/4 inch pneumatic staple in the top bar, and then also along the side. Of course, I've got a gap there. You notice that when I glue it, I'm going to take the gap out and then put a staple in through here, which will attach the side bar to the main part of the top bar. I've tried to put staples in these split bottom pieces, but staples seem to do major damage to the very end of it, and so on these parts I still use a small 1 inch or 3/4 inch nail for that. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a quick way to cut through that and leave the least amount of remnants on the top bar so that you get the cleat. Now this cleat is what you actually attach the foundation with. Now these frames are from Kelly Bees, and I've noticed that this, or I've measured that this distance here, the thickness of the top bar minus the cleat, is a 1/2 inch. Now you'll need to check with your particular manufacturer, and they may change from one manufacturing run to another, but on this particular one it's a 1/2 inch. But I didn't really go by the measurements per se. I set the fence by the thickness that I was actually going to need. I've got the height of the blade at the top of the cleat where it's cut there, and I've got the thickness between the blade and the fence, the thickness of the remaining top bar minus the cleat. Now when you're setting up your fence, you want to choose a blade that has a very thin kerf, the smallest kerf that you can find. Your general kerf size for a standard 10-inch blade or 12-inch blade is going to be like about 1/8 of an inch. You want something much less than that. In fact, you want a kerf less than 1/16 of an inch if you can find one. Generally, your 6 1/2 inch diameter blades or 7 1/4 inch diameter blades would have a kerf that would be narrow enough that would not chew into much of the cleat itself. This is a 7 1/4 inch blade. This solid piece is going to go up. This is going to go against the fence with the top against the fence. This is the way you're going to run it through. So let's run a few and I'll show you. Now before we get started, I always use safety equipment. I like to use leather gloves if I can manipulate the material. So first of all, I'm going to get me some safety glasses. Turn the saw on, and then I'm going to cut this piece off. Now, in addition to safety glasses and gloves, since you're using a thin kerf blade, I also recommend some type of breathing protection, because this thin blade is going to create a lot of wood fine dust particles.